Welcome back. I'm your host, Malaysia Peters. This part of the show is a little different than the rest. We take a deeper look at things that makes Mississippi unique. Mississippi gave birth to the blues, and there is so much history within earshot. Reporter Anna Francis takes a look at a historic radio station in Jackson.
The historic WNPR radio station in Jackson has played host to some of the most popular blues music of all time, thanks to the glue that has held it together since 1983. General Manager Charles Evers is most commonly known as the older brother of civil rights activist Medgar Evers and former mayor of Jackson. Charles Evers took over WNPR in its early form. He says he wanted something unique for his people.
When I went to the FCC and asked for it, I told them I wanted a radio station that we could have more or less Negro music. That's how we were Negro, and we changed every 10 years. Negro music, that's gospel, blues, reggae, rap, things that my folk listen to, and they agreed to it.
The war veteran has not run the station as a one-man army. One of his soldiers is someone very dear to his heart. His daughter, Wanda Evers, says it was the love of music that led her back home.
I used to do a jazz segment in Chicago when I lived there for a radio station, WNUA, with Ramsey Lewis. And when I moved down here, instead of going back to nursing, I came here to learn the business.
And she says the history she sees at 90.1 is well worth it. After serving in 2 wars, Charles Evers advised several U.S. presidents, striking his love for politics and building lifelong connections with some of the nation's former leaders. Today, 92-year-old Charles Evers is still working hard to ensure that WNPR continues to cater to the public. Reporting for Hub City TV, I'm Anna Francis.
The city of Vicksburg can be referred to as the city of beginnings, being the first of many things for African Americans. Hub City TV reporter Nikita Caldwell has more.
The city of Vicksburg can be seen as one of the first stepping stones in the evolving of African Americans in the South. During the Civil War, some of the first instances of blacks and whites fighting alongside of each other happened right here in Vicksburg. Dr. David Slay has been working at the National Military Museum for over 10 years and knows a great deal about the role of African Americans in the Civil War.
African American troops recruited. It was a great experiment. And they were to be used as manual labor at first, but later they, by necessity, got into the fight, and they expected to fight. And when they did fight, they fought well.
African Americans continued to make history in Vicksburg. In 1875, the first African Methodist Episcopal Church in Mississippi was built. Leonard Banks has been a member of this church since he was 6 months old. He says that COFO, the Council of Federated Organizations, met 3 blocks away from his grandmother's house. But to them, Bethel was home.
During that particular time, a lot of the personnel, students, would come to Bethel because they weren't, allowed in a lot of the other churches, African American churches also.
Aside from being the first AME church in Mississippi, Bethel was also the site of Campbell College, the first African American college in Mississippi without the help of white aides. It was also the site of the first Masonic temple in Mississippi.
Across the street is Jefferson Funeral Home, which is the oldest African American, third oldest African American business in the nation. It's the oldest African American business in the state of Mississippi.
Vicksburg will forever be memorable, from its National Military Museum to its many firsts. With Hub City TV, I'm Nikita Caldwell.
Can you name all of your senses? Let's see if the people in this week's Hub Stumper can name all 5.
30?
A lot, I guess.
5 tons.
Nothing.
Jefferson.
Hang on, can we stop this?
Hillary Clinton. Abraham Lincoln.
Smell, touch.
5 of them, right?
I think that's about it.
Smell. Hearing, taste, smell, sight, hearing, touch, I don't know. Sight.
Hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, feeling.